For the news review. But first, our Drive Safe campaign brought to us by Joy News and the Multimedia Group and supported by Toyota Ghana Company Limited, Toyota Superior Quality. So avoid all distractions, keep both eyes on the road and hands on the steering wheel. Be visible, drive with your lights on at night, and that's how to drive safe. Say it right. Normally brought to us by Koba Payment App, Koba, our lives simplified, and Kingdom Books. At Kingdom, quality and affordability are their hallmarks. And Say It Right returns tomorrow. But time now for the news review. But before we get into the news review, so on News File on Saturday, in a conversation with Samson Ladi and Yenini, private legal practitioner Martin Kwabena questioned the significance of the Yantiama Committee and highlighted why some salient opinions from esteemed persons like the Yana were not considered in the committee's recommendation. Let's listen to Martin Kwabena.
Going around the country, what I'm wondering, Doctor, is that you heard the people, from pages 3 onwards, it was stated in the report several times that you heard people saying that no, the disparity between this Article 71 office holders and the rest of the populace is too wide, the relativism and all that. So the question is that I'm left baffled how you could have come up with recommendations for a gargantuan increase, because your own committee report, you were a consultant, you're here, you went around the country. I remember even the last time we discussed it, I had one of the pages where even the Yana famously said, look, as you do this work, the current Yana, that think about the nurse, think about the teachers. And yet you're the same people who came with these gargantuan sums. And today you're on the panel saying what?
Well, so that's Martin Kwabena there. But Dr. Nyakon, who Martin Kwabena was referring to, clarify the role of the Professor Ntiamwa Committee and explain that the committee sought to transform the S. Gracia into a monthly scheme that intended to pay monthly stipends to MPs to prevent them from being impoverished after their tenure of office.
So what the Ntiamwa Committee sought to do, and it is in the report, is to transform the S. Gracia into a superannuation scheme that will pay a monthly stipend to MPs. So all these huge figures you are seeing there, let's invest it on their behalf. Let them also make a contribution, just like a teacher make a contribution to the social security. Let's have a superannuation scheme, a pension scheme of some sort, that will pay a monthly income to MPs so that it prevents them from getting into poverty and destitution. So a lot of innovations were done, were proposed, were recommended. At the end of the day, we were told that S. Gracia is mentioned in the Constitution. And you cannot use your report to amend or to take away what is due as what the Constitution has provided for us. And then the question of vested interest also comes in. Right. So let me put the point that the committee's work is a technical work. You don't go review somebody's salary and simply say that, bring it down. And I mean, from a technical perspective, the problem of salary administration in this country is about how you raise the bottom.
So there you have it. That's Dr. Kwabena Nyako. But again, this question of S. Gracia never going, and we've been having this conversation. I remember, in 2009, it became topical because at the time there were disputes over whether it was really approved for members of parliament and the executive. So at time setting up the Ishmael Yamson committee to also look into all of it again after the Chenrihesi committee. It brings us back to this question again. You've served your tenure. Why must we still pay you? And as we have seen in the report, 4 months per year times the number of years.
Right.
So for MPs, 4 months a year, that's 4 times 4, 16 months salary as end of service benefits.
Right.
Some still in parliament.
Of course.
I've taken it 7 times.
7 times.
Why?
Because they are MPs and that's what the law says. In fact, if we want to have a look at this payment, then perhaps we should have a look at the Constitution itself. Because I don't think that this thing is done just to please anybody. It is a requirement that must be followed. And the issue about this payment is that the beneficiaries are people themselves who are so much into it. So you have, at some point, the executive approving that of parliament approving that of the executives. Some MPs, in fact, I know some MPs who went to parliament, first, second term, they lost their seat. The ex gratia they took eventually went to pay old debt.
Yes.
In fact, when I know a certain MP, I will not mention the name, but I can tell you for a fact, this man, at the start of every parliamentary session, you are given the option to apply for a car loan. So most of them will go, mostly the SUVs, Land Cruisers, and the rest. Now, the payment of this vehicle is such that the deduction from your salary alone will not be enough to pay off the loan. So your ex gratia is what is used finally to clear off the debt.
No,
I remember
they're taking other loans too.
Exactly. So I remember this MP who, in fact, I think he had a very big taste. So when his colleagues were going in for Land Cruiser at $80,000, $90,000, at best $100,000, he went for Lincoln Navigator.
I see.
And then had some arrangement with the bank that 30% of my salary is supposed to go and service this loan. And the bank says that the kind of car you want us to buy for you, there's no way, in fact, we can actually take all your salary. He agreed.
Wow.
So every month he was taking home 100 Ghana cedis. Yes. At the end of his, in fact, he went to contest the parliamentary primaries. He spent so much money and lost.
Wow.
So his ex gratia was taken. It was still not enough. At some point in parliament, the bank had to tow the car to go and pay all this. And so clearly, it looks flowery. I mean, it looks beautiful. But I can tell you for a fact that the money doesn't even, most of it doesn't even get to the pockets of this MP, because some have set the expectations so high, it is very difficult to meet.
They have to look at it again. But we'll have this conversation. Let's get to the news review now, brought to us by Milo Energy. To go further, an Enterprise Lives Family Income Security Plan, Enterprise Your Advantage, and First Atlantic Bank, refreshingly different.
So let's start with the Ghanaian Observer.
Sure.
Akufo-Addo kickstart ambitious plan to plant 20 million trees. Also, Finance Minister storms Parliament Thursday over COVID-19 expenditure. National Flood Control Program use resource of forcing a get new police station. Affordable housing high on government agenda. The interesting thing about this story is that at the start of the second term of the president, in his inaugural address, it was clear housing, among others. In fact, housing is going to be my main priority. I'm yet to see any tangible, things on the ground to suggest that indeed this is going to be happening. So the Ghanaian Observer, those are the stories on the newspaper, and I want to encourage the people to tell us which page we should look at for the story, because leaving it blank like that, I don't think it is the best. I have to now go visually look for the stories in the paper.
Okay.
All right. The Daily Guide, $10 million to renovate tourist sites. That's according to the president. Oforiatta accounts for COVID's expenses on page 6 of the Daily Guide. 50 NPP forms, and then a total of 50 people, including national chairmanship aspirants, picked forms of the ruling New Patriotic Party to contest the upcoming elections. 7 students suspended for smoking shisha. I don't know if you know what shisha is, but this story is coming from Sunyani, and then it's coming from the Sunyani Senior High School in the Bono region.
Ladies actually.
Yeah, ladies, some ladies, yeah. So these 7 female students have students for engaging in bad behavior. They have actually been suspended. The students last week sneaked from the campus in school uniforms to have fun and smoke shisha with some 3 young men who invited them out. So the picture, the video later got leaked on social media, on Facebook. It was all over, and they were proudly doing it in uniform. It's quite a worrying situation that, we have to tighten measures or punitive measures to deter other students from also doing that. On the back page of the Daily Guide, judge dismisses Ronaldo rape lawsuit. Spain balls, tips Brazil, Argentina for Qatar 2022 glory.
Let's get to the Chronicle for this morning, and let's start with Jeremiah 22 verse 17. But your eyes and your heart are intent only upon your own dishonest gain, and on shedding innocent blood, and on practicing oppression and extortion. The big one, top police officer shielding land guards. That's a question IGP Dampari orders probe. And we're told that the police administration has commenced investigations into alleged persistent interference by a senior police officer at the national headquarters in land cases being investigated and prosecuted by the police at Katamanso in the Katamanso municipality of the Greater Accra region. This follows a petition by Ni Ade Ankra of the Okle family in Katamanso against Chief Superintendent Solomon Ayewini Aboyinga at the headquarters of the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service. So there's a probe into that issue. And forestation of Achimota Forest on course comes to the president planting a tree during the National Green Ghana Day. And flood early warning system for Accra, that's according to the Western Housing Minister, Francis Asenso Boache. Achima Kokwaso gets new police station, is also on the front page. And Kotoko beat Sharks in Coronation March.
Absolutely.
Kumasi Asante
Absolutely.
Kotoko. Africa's club of the last century. Doing it nicely in Kumasi, beating Elmina Sharks. And, it's a joy when Olympics beat Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
On the day that Kotoko
3 unanswered goals.
I tell you. Abili. 3. Sorry,
Okay, so the finder has this on its front page: 100 million trees to be planted by 2024. That's according to President Akufo-Addo. EcoBank, amongst the most profitable banks, not surprising. Tourism is key to jobs revenue, President Akufo-Addo says at the reopening of renovated National Museum. I don't know whether you've been to the museum before. I mean, last Friday was
years ago.
I didn't even know such a facility was there. In fact, last Friday was my first time. In fact, when I entered the premises, I saw the chair, if you like, that was used by first President Osajifo Kwamka when he was inaugurated as president. The vehicle he used, former President Kufuor's, first E-class vehicle he used during the early days of the presidency, all parked there. And the intention is that they want to preserve it so that people can pay and have a look at some of these. And so the Chronicle has it on its front. They find out.
Yeah, but I'd love to go and see all of those.
Of course.
When I was in primary school, I remember I went to the museum. That was my first and only time I've been to the museum. Excursion. Those times. I haven't been there again. Yeah. So it's been a long time.
So again, if you look at the last but one page of the finder, the Cristiano Ronaldo rape lawsuit in Vegas dismissed. Now he can travel to the US without worrying about anything. Tema Youth ordered to pay 668,000 euros to young Red Bull within 14 days after losing an appeal. And so those are some of the remove carbon, get found to properly resource basic schools. National Service Secretariat introduced Flare Portal to create employment for personnel. So that's a finder. Are we now going to the details? Yeah, okay.
No, before that, let's get to the Statesman. Yes.
All right. So the Daily Statesman, government flood control program impacts several communities. Comes with a picture of the Works and Housing Minister there on page 2. NSS introduces Flare Portal to create jobs for personnel. Let's build greener future. Is captured on page 2, coming from the President Nana Akufo-Addo watering a tree there. So these are some of the stories making headlines on the front.
Let's get to the Daily Graphic. But this flood control thing, I mean, I think the sweetness of the pudding is in the eating. The evidence on the ground does not suggest that the flood control is. Look, we've seen flood waters.
Yeah,
we've seen it. We lost somebody just I think last Sunday or so in my area. When it rains now, I can't even look. The last time I drove through the area, people stopped me and said, "Join you." So
which area to be specific, so that they will know where we are talking about.
Join you when you go to Abokobi. Yeah, it never used to flood like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
It never used to flood.
Yeah,
until this year. So I am looking at it and I'm hearing flood control mechanisms and all of that, and it's beginning to yield results. But I also know that the minister wrote a letter to the finance minister requesting some 883 million Ghana cedis.
So he has actually mentioned communities that have benefited.
Yes.
If you permit me, I'll just read them. Achimota Mile 7, Kantamanso, Mamprobi, Abeka Aigbe Town, Labadi Olympia, Teshi Yomo, Specs and Nungwa. United Church area had experienced the less flooding. So These are the areas that he said. They added that the communities in Hacho, Medina, Firestone, Medina, Mayhot, Medina, Redco, Medina, Obologo, Dome Crossing, and a host of others have been featured here. So that's where the focus of
So if you live in any of these areas,
You should tell us what.
tell us. Oh no, hold on. If you live in any of these, because when I used the Medina stretch the last time, I didn't see Dummy and all those areas. Fair boy couldn't come to work as a result.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I am saying, anybody, look, anybody if you live in these areas, go through the areas again.
Yeah.
Tell us whether there's improvement in your flooding situation. Mention the areas again.
No, but okay, you go ahead.
So we have Achimota Mile 7, Kantamanso, Mamprobi, Abeka Igbe Town, Labadi, Olympia. We have Teshi Yomo Specs, Nungwa United Church area had experienced less flood, and that's what the minister is saying. He added the communities in Hacho, Medina Firestone, Medina Mayhot, Medina Redco, Medina Oblogo, Dome Crossing, Elang, Santa Maria, Plus FM and Washington Bay area, Malangbawi, Weja, Kaswa Iron City, Kaswa Obum, and Ashama, among others, had also been impacted positively. That's what he said. But they have control program.
It is very interesting because this same minister, in a letter to the finance minister, is complaining about the fact that there is no money to undertake the many projects that he wants to do it. And nobody has come out to deny the information that we have put out there. So it's very interesting that we are being updated on what has been done and the impact it's having on these communities.
Did you see that? Did you see the flooding at Mile 7 just last week?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
So what exactly did they do?
Hold
Is it
on
that
a
they
second.
constructed drains, or
Let's
what
go
did they do?
let's go for the online news review. We'll come back because the flooding that happened at Mile 7, and someone came to me the last time complaining about how his car, I'm coming. Let's get to the online news review brought to us by Zenith Bank in your best interest. Goil Good Energy and Eden Heights Luxury has a new destination. So Goil, your oil marketing company of choice, keeps making life so convenient for you. Goil now accepts Momo for all fuel purchases at selected stations. Just remember to Momo it at Goil. And that's not all. You can also use your bank card to buy fuel at Goil, and this is made possible by APSA. Drive to Goil stations now, buy your fuel, pay by Momo or bank card, and you're good to go. Visit Goil social media platform, Facebook, Goil.official, Instagram, Goil_GH, and on Twitter, Goil_official. For more information on the service stations, you can conveniently use Momo. Goil Good Energy, Goil, yeah, dear. Now, your home is more than where you lay your head. Your Eden Heights home gives your family the best quality of life with a full-size football pitch, tennis court, basketball courts, squash courts, swimming pools, gym, and so much more. Eden Heights is a place where you live, play, and relax, and is located just 2 minutes behind the West Hills Mall. You should visit there. It's so nice and affordable. Why don't you book a site tour by calling the following numbers: 0501 531444 or 0501 531445, or visit our website edenheights.com.gh. Eden Heights Luxury has a new destination, but you want to deposit cash at your convenience? You can now deposit your cash at selected Zenith Bank ATMs nationwide. Simply visit Zenith Heights, Tichi Plaza on the Spinters Road, Sunyane, Tamale, and Ahojo branches of Zenith Bank to deposit your cash at a Zenith Bank ATM. Cash deposits via Zenith Bank's ATMs are fast, easy, and convenient. Zenith Bank in your best interest. Let's get to myjoyonline.com. And National Cathedral embedded in illegality and lack of forthrightness. That's according to Samuel Okujeto. Blackwell. Let's get to citynewsroom.com. Oforiatta to appear in Parliament this week to answer long-standing questions on COVID-19 expenditure. And the BBC website this morning: Liverpool agreed deal to sign Benfica striker Nunes. And that's all. Let's get to the BBC News, brought to us by Fidelity Bank. Believe with us, Edlom Housing, where quality and spacious, homes cost less, and Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner.
This is a bank. First Atlantic Bank. A shiny purple star to brighten up my day. First Atlantic Bank. Professionally different services all day long. First Atlantic Bank. And it feels so cool. I know this is where I belong. Come on, everybody. This is a bank like no other. First Atlantic Bank. Follow me, let's
First Atlantic Bank. Refreshingly different.
Jack, you know my boss owns a fleet of commercial cars and he drives only brand new vehicles. Latest. Before he hired me, this is what he said. Krachi, my vehicles are my investment. It is a winning, now winning, and you buy any fuel apart from oil. Waboka, sign this undertaking.
But he was right?
Yes, and he's right. GOIL stocks only higher grade fuels, further enriched with XP3, multifunctional enhancer, more efficient, eco-friendly, and at no extra cost. Available at every GOIL station. Ajibedia. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP. Higher grade fuels, excellent for modern engines and all vehicles. GOIL, good energy. Yeah, yeah.
Goil is good energy.
Your home is more than where you lay your head. Your Eden Heights home gives your family the best quality of life with a full-size football pitch, tennis courts, basketball courts, swimming pools, gyms, and so much more. Eden Heights is a place where you live, play, and relax. Located just 2 minutes behind the West Hills Mall. Reserve your apartment today with a flexible payment plan of up to 2 years. Book a site tour with us or call our team for more information on 050-153